briefly because I believe that the regular newscasting in this country is rather biased. I mean, it's controlled by 3 companies, virtually. So we never hear anything about these trade agreements. We don't hear anything about the 2 wars that we've been engaged in, which the politicians don't want to talk about the $3 trillion they both cost the taxpayers, yes, or will. Our children and grandchildren will see this debt. Politicians today are so consumed with the idea, some of them, to take the last bastion of the New Deal, Social Security, away from us. They tried in the 90s to take it away, and then when George W. Bush was in, they wanted to give it to Wall Street to operate, yeah, and we all know what that would have done.
Yes.
It would have been the end.
You see, what you have just lifted up is, I mean, these are important present-day facts and pieces of information that citizens in this democracy need to become alert to, of what's going on and what has been and can continue to go on in this democracy, unless all of us as citizens in this democracy will have people in office that will really work and plan for the well-being of all the citizens, you see?
And when you say all, I think of the Democrats, even at the lowest level of elected official, should all be on the same page to say the words that Senator Bernie Sanders said Obama should have said in the debate: we will not cut your Social Security.
Yes.
And the reason I say that is because it is a hand up, not a handout. My mother was widowed at 39, had 5 kids, the oldest 17-year-old Marine. The baby was 6 months. She had a nervous breakdown. My father wasn't even 41. And with the assistance of Social Security, she was able to keep my siblings in one unit. Otherwise, we would have been doled out to relatives or foster homes. And all of us paid back whatever Social Security we got, yes, to get a little bit of a hand out, to be handed up into society.
Exactly. See, what you've just lifted up is what every citizen in this democracy ought to be aware of and ready to commit themselves to, not only to themselves, but for the next generation.
Yes, and this is what I don't understand about the greed of this country and basically the world. Don't they think of the destiny of their children and their grandchildren? I mean, we all need to worry about the common good. We all need to be involved with the lowest run of the people that are on the ladder of this society. You may go there. I was there. Now I've worked and had an education. And so I'm a tax-paying citizen that's been doing this for 40 years.
Yes.
And so the cycle does work. We cannot lose this Social Security system as it is today. We need to take the cap off the people that make more than $110,000. Excuse me, they say by 2035, I believe, that Social Security will not have enough funds. Presently, they're running a surplus. It is a trust unto itself. It's got nothing to do with the deficit.
Right.
So if they took this cap off, like they did for Medicare in 1993, 70% of that debt would go away by 2035, just by taking the cap off 100,000 wage earners. I think they can afford it. My analogy to that, Frank, is if you have a Cadillac and I have a beater Volkswagen,
yes,
and we go for insurance, you can't gripe because you're paying more insurance than me. No. You have more to lose.
Right.
And so those that have the most among us should be the most willing to give to the system to help those that are least.
See, what you've just lifted up is something that all of us in this democracy of the U.S. of A. should always have in mind, and that is not just our rights and privileges, but the rights and privileges for the next generation. And that includes health and education, so that they can develop their talents and also develop their skills and health practices to be useful citizens for the full length of their lives. See, this is what happened with me growing up in 4 different rooming houses during the Depression, and then going into World War II in the Navy Air Corps, but then having the GI Bill to continue with my education, see, made all the difference for the rest of my life. You see, I want that for each generation, if they, as young people, will become good students, develop their talents, that they can move ahead not only for their lives, but to be constructive citizens for the well-being and the lives of the next generation.
Of course, and if we're going to be tried by a jury of our peers, we should have judges and lawyers that come from us too.
Yes.
We should not just have one segment of society have jurisdiction on the rest of us.
What you've just lifted up is the importance that out of each generation, it should be possible for the students, as they move from high school, and if they go on to college, move through college and university into the professions, including law as well as medicine, and get involved with the political life of the country, that they be not only well informed, but devoted to the well-being of all in each generation of the present and the future citizens.
Yes, and to your point, a friend of mine, a union guy, once said, if the many would just do a little, there wouldn't be so much for the few to do. And so if everybody pitched in, went to a debate, passed leaflets, went to meetings to express their opinion on the political process, not just on your vote,
Yep.
but once a month, maybe once every other month, be involved, participate in your democracy, or it will not exist. It'll be taken from you.
See, what you've just lifted up is one of the reasons I appreciate so much living here in McMinnville and being a part of this television station, public access television, where different political parties have regular programs, different groups within the community, not only in McMinnville but in this county, have programs to bring to the attention of all of us of what the problems are and what the possibilities are, that all of us can have a richer, better life, not just for us individually, but for the whole population.
Yes, and like everyone's got a point of view that you can grow from. I started doing the political work and lobbying for AWPPW in '05.
Yes.
And I thought conservative people were just snooty or didn't get it or whatever. But I learned to respect them on their idea of being responsible for where the money goes.
Yes.
Because, some people say that the Democrats are tax and spend, and the Republicans represent the rich or whatever. But somewhere in this, there has to be compromise. That's the art of, political life. In today's politics, there doesn't seem to be enough of that. I really question if Oregon today could have the beach bill, the bottle bill, or any of these kind of things, plant closure bills that I've seen in my time here in Oregon, make it through by helping from each party to get things resolved.
See, what you've just lifted up, here I am a very active Democrat, but I have to go back and look at our history when earlier in our history we had some very strong Republican leadership in the state of Oregon that got through the preservation and the conservation of the entire Oregon coast, the beaches,
Yes.
as public.
Yes.
You see, for all